Hey friends, welcome back to another episode of Black Queer Unapologetic. My name is JoJo, and I am gonna just say this up front because I don't want anybody to misunderstand what this episode is or isn't. This isn't a quit your job and everything will magically work out for you kind of episode, and it's not a motivational speech, and it's definitely not hustle culture in reverse, but it is, I guess, a reckoning because after 19 years of working nonstop, after doing everything right on paper that I was told that I was supposed to do and checking all the boxes that I was told that mattered, I woke up one day and just realized that I didn't recognize myself anymore and I was losing more and more of myself every day. And that scared the shit out of me. So we're going to get into that. This is a story time of me quitting my job and rejecting the images of perfectionism. Let's get into it.
Ay, black, queer, unapologetic. Black, queer, unapologetic. I know who I am, now you know what I'm about. I say the thoughts in my head out loud. Let's get into it, let's pick up the flow though. Brought to you by the one they call JoJo. Black, queer, unapologetic. Black, queer, unapologetic. Let's go.
I did everything that I was supposed to do. I worked hard. I climbed the ladder. I survived systems that I was told that weren't built for me, and ones definitely that I know that were not built for me, whether somebody told me or not. And I learned how to navigate rooms quietly and strategically, and I learned how to make myself palatable. And on paper, I was winning. Good money, a car, a house, stability. And everywhere I went, work, dating, family, friendships, people kept telling me in subtle or not so subtle ways that something was wrong with me. You're being too intense. You're too strict. You're too much, too opinionated, too emotional, too independent, too cocky, too confident or not confident enough. It was always something, just something. And a lot of the time it contradicted itself. And what nobody tells you is that eventually when enough people repeat those messages, you start editing yourself without even realizing it. And you start shaving off pieces of yourself and you start compartmentalizing and you start performing different versions of yourself just to survive each space. And I did that for years. And at some point, I wasn't one person anymore. I was work JoJo and dating JoJo and party JoJo and family JoJo and friend JoJo. And each version was acceptable and each version was tolerable, but none of them was a whole person. And I didn't even clock it at first because fragmentation is rewarded. Like when you edit yourself down, people, they don't want you to bring your full self. People might say that, but when you do it, it's like, oh, this is a lot, or I don't know if I can handle it. And especially in corporate environments, especially in HR, which was my career field, and especially when your job is to understand people while pretending that you're not one of them. But the truth that nobody wants to say out loud is that you cannot be deeply human in spaces that require you to numb yourself to survive. And I was numbing out emotionally, spiritually, creatively. I spent 10 years in HR and I saw how executive leadership thinks and I saw how decisions are made and I saw the back and forth, the flip-flopping, the politics, the cowardice dressed up as strategy. And honestly, it's pretty fucking sad. Not because people are like evil or anything or have those malintentions, but because so many people at the top are actually terrified of losing power or being exposed or rocking the boat and being seen as too much or not enough and then being replaced. And that holds you back from saying what you actually believe. So everyone performs. And we do this collective song and dance just to maintain footing, just to get to the next level and to survive another quarter, another year. And I realized something that shook me. I did not want to become that. I didn't want to wake up at 50, financially secure, but emotionally hollow and spiritually disconnected from myself, still chasing approval from systems that I don't believe in. And those systems don't care about anybody. I mean, we're seeing that today, that a lot of systems that our society is built around that just don't care about us as human beings and individuals. So I need to say this part because if I don't, the whole conversation would be incomplete. The system is not neutral. It is not equally demanding of everyone, and it's not equally forgiving either. And it absolutely is not designed for Black people to rest or experiment or slow down. And for a lot of moments from when I entered the workforce, I was taught explicitly and implicitly that I had to work twice as hard just to be seen as competent. Not exceptional, not brilliant, not a visionary, but competent. Like, I know what I'm doing and I have to prove that over and over and over again. So hustle culture doesn't hit us the same way. I think what I'm saying is that it's not so much hustle culture, it's more so survival conditioning. I've had up to 3 jobs at one time. I had 1 full-time job and 2 part-time jobs. Not because I was greedy and not because I loved being busy, but because security always felt temporary, because 1 paycheck never felt like it was enough protection. Layoffs, racism at work, culture fits, and politics are always closer for certain people with different identities. Because we're taught early that if something goes wrong, we're not going to be given grace. We will be the first one to go. So you grind and you overperform and you stay late and you say yes and you prove yourself over and over again that the system rewards that kind of behavior at first until it doesn't, until your body starts breaking down and until you're exhausted, but you can't stop. And then when you burn out, the system just shrugs and goes and finds somebody else to replace you. Burnout is like a feature of this system that we live in. And the culture supports working yourself into the ground and it glorifies it. And we call it ambition and we call it resilience and we call it having a strong work ethic. But what it really is extraction. And I had to confront the fact that I was participating in my own extraction from myself just to stay afloat. And that's not healthy and it's not sustainable. And I mean, it damn sure is not freedom, which is what I really want. And so when I said I quit my job, I didn't just quit the role that I was in. I rejected a system that expects Black people to sacrifice our bodies, our creativity, our joy, and our emotional lives that we've earned just to exist comfortably. And I rejected the idea that the rest has to be earned through suffering, and the belief that my value comes from how much I can endure, and the lie that burnout is a personal failure instead of a structural one. And I'm not interested in going back to that. So you're probably thinking, well, Tata, what happened? Like, what was the breaking point? There wasn't some dramatic blow up or anything like that. I mean, there kind of was, but it happened way prior. But it was closer to the end. It was quieter than that. I just woke up one day and thought I've been led down a road that I don't actually like. The road where perfectionism disguises itself as ambition, and the road where doing better never had an endpoint, and a road where no amount of achievement ever bought peace. And I realized that perfectionism wasn't making me better, it was making me smaller, so I quit. After 19 years of working nonstop, after doing it right, after surviving spaces most people never even see, I walked away not because I failed, but because I succeeded and I didn't like who I was becoming. And you're probably still wondering, but Jojo, what happened? Well, I can't get into like specifics. Some of you guys know, but um, I took a medical leave from work, and some stuff went down while I was on medical leave. And when I went to go back to work, things had shifted so much that really opened my eyes. And I'm like, you know what? This is enough. Because when you work in HR, you see a lot of the ugly things that go on behind closed doors. And I've seen it at almost every company that I've worked at. And I've seen it from different executives and things like that. And I didn't know whether it was like, I don't want to work in this field anymore, like, or this industry anymore, or do I not want to work in HR anymore? Do I not want to work for these people anymore? But when you start to see how the system does people, and then you take time for yourself, as I did when I went on a medical leave, and then the system turns back on you, you just start to realize that this whole shit is rigged, and you can either stay in it and continue to participate in that stupid ass game, or you can remove yourself from it and go find some peace. And I chose to go find peace. We live in a culture obsessed with optimization. You got to be better. You got to be faster. You got to make more money. You got to be the smartest, communicate perfectly. And at some point, I had to ask myself, like, who benefits from me never being enough? Because the constant pressure to improve was exhausting, and it stripped out the joy from everything in my life. It turned my life into a performance review, and I don't want to live like that anymore. And I'm gonna be 100% frank. Like, I've been very good at my job, like very, very good at my job. But I started to realize it doesn't matter how good you are at your job if you're not kissing somebody's ass, or if you are not going to be forwardly likable, meaning you're going out of your way to make other people comfortable, to befriend people, to do what they say. And it to me, it just starts to feel kind of like a whole master slave dynamic. Like, I mean, I have my own opinions about that, and I'll probably get into that later at some point, but you go work for these companies and they set the terms, like your benefits are tied to your work. The company picks the benefit, your pay, your raises, things like that. The only thing that we get to pick and choose is whether we want to work for those companies or not. But then when you get something good, like, oh, the benefits are good or the pay is good, but everything else is shitty. The experience is shitty. The managers they suck. Um, you you're trapped, and it kind of starts to feel like a trick and like some type of modern day slavery in a sense where you get to pick your own master, but you still have to obey and you can't ask questions and you can't push the envelope. You can't make waves. You can't challenge people. You can't call out people when they're wrong because when you do those things, you're labeled as difficult. And it doesn't matter whether you're right or not because the people with the power make the decisions. So whether you're right or not, they can still say that you're being difficult or unreasonable and find a way to get you out. And most people don't know how to protect themselves. So you edit yourself down and you play nice. And I'm just sick of it. I'm sick of it because when you see these things, it's like you can't unsee them. You want to say something, you want to do something, you do say something, you do something, and then it's received negatively, but you're doing the right thing. But it's not allowed. You're supposed to go along to get along. Now, I don't know if anybody else feels this way or if it's just me because I was working in HR, but I mean, I've had so many careers. Like in the last 19 years, I did retail management. I was in the military. I've done HR. I worked at a nonprofit. Worked at 24-hour fitness because I needed extra money. I drove for Lyft and Uber. I've done everything. And I used to work at Starbucks. And I just see there's a trend, like from my experience, like I've seen all of this stuff over and over again. And it's like I'm trading my time for this money, but I can't buy my time back. And I started to also notice that as I'm getting older, I'm 36 now, a lot of people that I grew up with are passing away at really young ages, under 40. And we don't know how much time we have left. And I'm not trying to take this to a dark place, but I felt like I was trading my time to do things that I did not enjoy for money, to then take PTO and limited time to do things that I enjoyed, to just go back to doing the things that I did not enjoy for more money. It's like this endless loop. And I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I don't want to do it anymore. I don't want to water myself down. I don't want to trap myself in these metaphorical chains. And I will tell you what I do want to do. I want to feel joy again. And I want to play like we did when we were kids. Back in the day when the shit was fun and you just kind of moved around and had a good time. And you didn't really care about the time that was passing. You just enjoyed yourself. I want to feel things intensely and not wire myself down. I want to be moved and I want to get angry when I'm mad. Like when I'm mad, I want to be able to feel that and be able to show it and not have to water it down and to hold it back and to contain my emotions all the time. I want to be soft when I'm feeling soft and feel joy when I want to feel joy and not have to be nonchalant about shit. No more numbing, no more compartmentalization, no more pretending that I'm unaffected or above it all because I'm not. And I hope that other people don't think that they are either because we deserve to feel our emotions and to play and to explore and to learn and experience life and not just move through it going through the motions. So now it's like Yeah, Jojo, you had some bad experiences. You've worked a lot. You need a break. HR wasn't for you. You saw some dark shit. It got turned back on you. Nobody's safe. You hate the system. So now what? What are you going to do? How are you going to make money? Well, I'm not. I'm not. At least not right now. I want to create and I want to travel and I want to go wherever the fuck I want to go. And I want to do whatever I want to do without shrinking. And I don't care if people think I shouldn't be there. I don't care if I don't fit the image of what that place is supposed to be. I don't care if my presence makes people uncomfortable. I'm going wherever I want to go. And I don't care if people have narrow-mindedness. That's not my responsibility. And maybe along the way, I'll figure out where I want to land. Maybe I'll go back to HR in a different way. I don't know. Maybe I won't. But I know I cannot go back to being a fragmented person that has emotions turned off, that is doing shady business, that is working for systems that do not benefit people. I want to be a full, complete person everywhere I go, and I want to feel my emotions 100%. And let me be clear here, like, this is not reckless advice. If you're thinking about quitting your job, here's what I'm gonna say. First, pay attention. I don't have a degree, but I paid attention to contracts, policies, systems, employment laws, how people actually move, body language, all of that shit. If you pay attention, nobody can fuck you over. You don't need to know everything, but you do need to know a little bit of something about everything so you don't get bullshitted. The second thing, build awareness before you build courage. Courage without clarity can be chaos, and clarity without courage is stagnation. The third thing, stop waiting for permission. This is like the biggest thing for me. No one is coming to validate your choices, and people will project their fears onto you all the time. Let them do that, and you do what you want to do, and fuck somebody giving you permission to do it. And I guess the last thing is that this path is not for everybody, and that's okay. But if staying in a job that you do not like is costing you your soul, even if you do like your job and it's still costing your soul, if you're numbing out just to survive and get through and make the paycheck, if you're performing versions of yourself just to be tolerated, that is not success. Go back and listen to the previous episode. That is slow erosion, and eventually you will burn out and you will hollow out yourself and you won't recognize yourself. You just won't. And nobody deserves that. I am hoping that I find some type of clarity. This sounds like I'm on some eat, pray, love type shit because my life is very blown up at the moment. But I have limited time. So we're gonna see what happens. And I have a countdown clock. I know how much money I have to have left before I start looking for another job. But until then, I'm gonna be exploring and enjoying myself and documenting that journey because I feel like I haven't done a really good job of that. I've lived a very intense life and I haven't really I don't take a lot of pictures. I don't like make a lot of videos and things like that. And I enjoy doing those things. I just never did it and I don't know why. And so now I'm starting to do that and I'm documenting this on Instagram and trying to find a way to look back at this when I'm older and be proud of myself for doing what I'm doing. And knowing that this journey is needed at this point for me to fully return to myself and be who I actually am. So I guess I'm going to end this by saying that I didn't quit because I'm weak, and I didn't quit because I didn't know what I was doing. I knew what I was doing. I I knew exactly what I was doing. I quit because I was done betraying myself, and I did it very strategically. I thought it through. And right now I'm just choosing my full presence over perfection and wholeness over performance, and no more numbing. We're not doing that anymore. And wherever I land next, I just want it to be as me, fully, unapologetically, without fragmentation. And we got some international trips on the books. We can call it my world tour. And yeah, if you guys have recommendations for me of things that I should go to or see or whatever, send those to me because I'm interested. And if you are in a situation like this, think it through. I've been posting HR tips on my profile. So if you find yourself in the situation, you might be able to get out of it in a way that actually saves you some cash. And yeah, if this episode resonated with you, you're not alone. And if it scared you, that might be an answer too. But yes, I will end this. As I always say, stay Black, stay queer. If you are neither, always stay unapologetic. And don't stay in a toxic job. And I will see you on the next one. Bye.